We rolling. I've read 85 books, listened to hundreds of hours of podcasts, and attended probably hundreds of hours of personal development events. I am what you can call obsessed with learning and wisdom and implementing it into my life. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you life-changing books. If you are ready for more, for that next level, I'm going to be sharing with you the top books that can transform your life. Whether you're experiencing heartbreak, to entrepreneurial mindset, to increasing your health and vitality, I've got you. These are my best of the best. Who am I? My name is Mahna Ghafori. I am a tech consultant turned world travel photographer, and I credit learning and these books to shifting my mindset to creating my dream life. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, for when you're experiencing heartbreak. The first book I recommend is When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. My notes from this were that it was absolutely beautiful. It's teaching that when basically everything that you know, like your world as you know it, is falling apart and it feels like there's no ground that's left for you to stand on, she teaches to soften into the tenderness of what you're experiencing, into that pain. That pain is kind of that universal feeling that unites all human beings. That pain is also a signal for us that maybe it's time to make a shift, maybe it's time to make a change in our lives. That's where the magic of life lies. And that's where she suggests that the path truly begins, where you can't see where you're going, where it's unknown. I listened to this book. I would walk on the beach in Santa Monica at sunsets, listen to this book, and it's one that I'll be referring to again and again when I'm experiencing heartbreak, when I'm experiencing uncertainty in this uncertain existence. I strongly recommend for anyone walking the path. The next book I recommend is The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. So beautiful. It brilliantly outlines the complexities of this human experience in simple and understandable ways. I think it's, again, a must-read for anyone who's walking the path, the spiritual path, the path unknown. And it helps you to make sense of the expanded consciousness that you're experiencing. And it's also a beautiful reminder for those low waves of life, because nature teaches us there are high waves and low waves. And it's a beautiful reminder of how to make sense of those valleys between the mountaintops. So the next book is Whatever Arises, Love That by Matt Kahn. And this is a great book that introduced me to the spiritual world, self-love, and healing your inner child. It was gifted to me by a friend when I was going through a painful heartbreak, and it brought me a lot of peace. I strongly recommend it. The next one is Calling in the One by Catherine Woodward Thomas. And this book, wow, absolutely mind-blowing. Books like this, I think, should be required reading for any human to work on their stuff, to cultivate self-love, and not that just like culturally said self-love, but true love, esteem for the self, to heal pieces of your past, your hurt inner child, and to integrate that into the present and learn to step forward into the future to share love with another. This book brought me so much peace and understanding, and I just love how it's broken down and presented to basically become the love that you wish to attract, and just a magical read. So strongly recommend. And the next one is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This book is like a Bible to me. I read it again and again and again. I think it's like the spiritual Bible. I'll leave it at that. The next section, To Awaken Your Mind and Step into Your Magic. Beyond the veil of this reality as you know it, to step into the unknown. The first one is Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This book came to me at the perfect moment during my spiritual awakening. That's also the thing I will say I think is so special about the way books find us at the point that we're ready for them. There are some books like Think and Grow Rich, which I'll discuss later, that was presented to me earlier than I was ready for it. And I couldn't understand it yet. I wasn't the person I needed to be to receive it until years later I came back across it on my bookshelf, picked it up again, and I was eating it up. I was loving it. I was writing yes, highlighting every word, all caps. So also remind yourself of that as you are going through these books. So for Becoming Supernatural, I loved the science-based findings coupled with the mystical magic that Joe Dispenza is expert at interweaving. It talks about the science of manifestation and how our thoughts and beliefs create our reality. It's an amazing mind-expanding read. I remember when I finished reading this book, I felt kind of this like shock of understanding the nature of our reality that was calming. And I, at the time, wrote that I really wanted to go to a workshop, and finally this past summer I went to a 7-day advanced meditation retreat. Life-changing, so amazing. The next book is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. This one I wrote, wow, third eye-opening and so inspiring. It's relevant to what I'm experiencing as an entrepreneur. It's basically the ways in which you're holding yourself back from leaping into your next level, from stepping into your next level. This book raises awareness of how we self-sabotage our upper limit. So basically, like, when things are too good, we're like, oh, wait, we're not used to this. Let's bring it back down. Like that thermostat of life that Ed Milet talks about a lot, that Tony Robbins talks about a lot. Whatever we believe, the life we believe that we're worthy of is the life we'll achieve. And if we go above that, then we'll self-sabotage unless we take that thermostat up. And yeah, so this book helps raise awareness of how we self-sabotage our upper limit, and it helps you stop that pattern, create a new one, and build a life in your zone of genius. The next one, Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer, one of my all-time favorite books. This book recounts the journeys of Chris McCandless, who became Alexander Supertramp, as he leaves the comforts of his set-up trust fund life in Northern Virginia and travels across the United States, eventually makes his way to Alaska, journals and writes down all of his kind of discoveries and thoughts. And it was one of the first books that I read in high school. I also grew up in Northern Virginia. It resonated so deeply with me, and it showed me that there are other paths available and there are other paths out there. So strongly recommend Into the Wild. One of the best for any traveler, any soul who wants to get out there and explore and experience more. The next is The Alchemist, also just like a required reading for travelers, it feels like. This book inspired so much for me, and it's one that I come back to time and time again on my journey and on my travels. The next one is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Oh my gosh, I remember when I first read this book, I was in high school and I was so entertained. I thought she was so funny and I was inspired. I was so inspired. But now reading it back with my spiritual understanding expanded, I see truths behind it that I didn't even understand then, that I'm like, whoa, there is wisdom, there is magic in this book. And yeah, I so strongly recommend it. I got to meet Jen Sincero at Lewis House Summit of Greatness last year, and she signed actually the original copy of the book. Let me show you. Oh, it's right here. One of the stories that she shared in her keynote was that one of her original dreams was to be a travel photographer, and it didn't work out. She went on, became a life coach, all these things. And I told her, I was like, I used to be a tech consultant and now I'm a travel photographer. And she laughed with me and she was like, you took my job. But yeah, she said, Mahna, love, feel, laugh, smile. That's all you have to do. Oh, so special, so cool. I feel so inspired by her. Next is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Wonderful, so many big breakthroughs. This book was gifted to me by a very special soul in my life, and it gave me so many powerful breakthroughs, especially about surrender, and how when you find your mind is trying to compute an answer for an unknown, that's your mind trying to take away from the magic of this existence. So this book emphasizes accepting the now as it is, and then acting to make a change without resistance. So, yeah, this was you now, you in the future. And yeah, a magical read. The next one is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. pure magic. I listened to the audio version of this and I loved how Gilbert presents the concept of ideas seeking a curious soul to bring them to life. So an idea will pop around all these different consciousnesses until someone's like, I'm courageous enough to bring it to life. So yeah, that links back to clearing your channels, being opened as a receiver, and then receiving and downloading that divine wisdom. This is one that I absolutely loved, and I think it's a must read for creatives. And the next one is Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. I had chills the entire listen. It's basically the themes from this. We are eternal, we are limitless, and we are connected beings. It will open your mind, and I got goosebumps again. I just goosebumps the whole time listening to that, because for me, goosebumps are an indicator of a deeper truth that the mind can't comprehend, but our soul is tuned into. Next, to optimize your vitality, your health, your energy, your life, just organization all around. The first one we have here, my favorite, Life Force by Tony Robbins, Peter Diamandis, and Robert Hariri. So what I wrote down from this one is, live life in a beautiful state no matter what. 2 years after starting this book, I just finished reading Life Force and it was magnificent. 1,000,000% recommend. Thank you, Tony Robbins, for transforming my life. I finally got to hug Tony Robbins 2 weeks ago and thank him. And I was just like sobbing. He was like, oh, honey. And it was such a special moment because he's transformed my whole life. And so I was so grateful to be able to hug him and thank him. I strongly recommend that book. That's where I found a PEMF machine when I lived in Santa Monica. And I started going for pulsed electromagnetic frequency, just like at a biohacking gym, and my frequency was so high when I was doing that biohacking. I also think that's why I was able to hike Everest with no training, was because of all the biohacking I was doing. I feel like my nerd self is being given an opportunity to thrive right now. I love it. I love it. Okay, so next we have Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art by James Nestor. So eye-opening for the importance of properly breathing and how it impacts everything in your body, every single thing, everything, all of it. A must read, a must read. You might be like, Mahna, I've been breathing my whole life. Why would I read a book on breathing? Trust me, read this. Trust me. Okay, up next on that same topic of, Mahna, I've been sleeping my whole life. Why should I read a book on sleeping? Why We Sleep. Another game changer on the importance of how sleep impacts literally everything. And also sleep is our connection to the dream world, which is our connection to the magical mystical, during which when you learn you can lucid dream and just connect to source in magical ways. So prioritize sleep, and you will prioritize sleep once you understand why we sleep. Check it out. Check it out. Such a great book by Matthew Walker. Up next, another life-changing book, The Greatness Mindset by Lewis Howes. Oh my gosh, Lewis has been such an inspiring mentor to me with his podcast, The School of Greatness, on my journey. I feel like the way that Lewis asks questions and breaks things down is in a way that my being can perfectly understand it. And so if you process and think and question like I do, then I think this book will be the perfect guide, especially if you are a 20-something, 30-something young millennial who's trying to sort out your purpose in this lifetime, aka all of us. I think this book, strongly recommend. I remember Lewis gifted this to me and signed it and wrote a note and said, Mahna, thanks for being a light in the world for so many that need your inspiration. And it was truly at a time where I was questioning my path. I was at a conjunction point. I can quit or I can keep going. And it kept me going. So blessings. Thank you, Lewis. And read this book if you resonate with what I just shared right there. Next, we have Code Red, Know Your Flow by Lisa Lister. This is a book for women to understand things that we were never taught or educated about regarding our periods. I I cannot believe I didn't know about this until I was 27 last year. I'm 28 now. It's wild how women aren't taught about the power of our bodies, but now I understand that it's all for a reason, to make us not know how magically powerful we are. Basically, our bodies have different superpowers at different times throughout the month. Just like the moon changes every single day, women fluctuate every single day, and a must read for women to learn how to work with your body, work with your cycle. And just like right now, I am in my peak ovulation. My body is feeling energetic and alive and alert. And so I scheduled 4 YouTube video recordings for today, versus when I am in my luteal phase, which is the complete opposite. I just want to be in bed. I want to be reading these books. I want to not be on camera. And before I used to force myself, but now I can just like be in the flow. Okay, so strongly recommend to know your flow. And I use the app Flow, by the way, to do that. I can make them all, yeah. I could say so much about each of these. I could literally make a whole video about each of these books. Let me know if anyone would be interested. So next, for entrepreneurial mindset. Whew. I love entrepreneurship. I love learning as much as I can about how to be a self-sufficient human being in this game of life. So the first one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. A copy of my book is currently with a friend. Otherwise, I would show you. Tony Robbins teaches that business is a spiritual game, and this book breaks down how and why to tap into that wealth and abundance frequency. Game-changing growth mindset. This is the 4-Hour Workweek and Wow by Tim Ferriss. This book inspired my whole journey. Just like the original exercises that I did in here. Cute. It was me doing my original dreamlining, dreaming of moving to Colorado for the first time, dreaming of my travel photography business. This dreamlining process helped me do it. So special. I also really love Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Anything by Tim Ferriss, I think the way that his brain also works and he breaks down and interviews and presents information is so valuable. So, up next. I can't believe I'm so excited right now. Okay, we have Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is, again, game-changing. It totally changed the way that I look at habits, and I think it's one of the best self-improvement books I have ever read. He talks about habit stacking, simplifying, just an absolute must for any human being looking to be better. We'll leave it at that. Any and all things Tony Robbins. So the one that his AI recommends, Tony's own AI, is Money Master the Game. So this is a comprehensive book offering a roadmap to financial freedom, combining actionable steps with insights from top financial minds, essential for anyone serious about taking control of their financial future. So basically, yeah, Tony Robbins' Business Mastery, anything by him for the business world, you learn that it's 80% just belief and 20% strategy. And these books are great for both. So next we have How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This one wasn't mind-blowing for me because I've gone into such deep research holes on human psychology and human behavior, but I think it is great for reinforcing the key lessons of basically making people feel that you genuinely care about them by genuinely caring about them. And yeah, just like how to connect with people. So if you're looking to connect with people further, a must read in business, in life, in friendships, anything. And influence people, because thus is the game of life, is to get people on your team in order to do business and work together or flow together or whatever you're trying to do with said person. The next one is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and I wrote Amazing Fundamentals and Money Mindset. I remember I was listening to this audiobook when I was in Hawaii, and I thought it was so cool because he grew up in Hawaii and a lot of the teachings are about his life there. And yeah, so that one's a great one. It's a classic on that wealth and money mindset. So these are the books that have shaped me and shaped my journey in ways that I would have never imagined. And so whether you're looking for healing or awakening or vitality or mindset, there's something here for everyone. So let me know which book you're most excited to read. I have them all linked in my Amazon storefront. I would appreciate it if you shop through my affiliate link because it's no more expensive for you and I get a percentage of it. Don't forget to subscribe for more travel and inspiration and mindset videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Mahna Ghafori, and I will see you in the next one.
Bye.
The next one.
Where is it? Where is it?
Where is my copy of the 4-Hour Workweek? Oh, it's right here. I was a little bit nervous for a second. I thought somebody took my copy of the 4-Hour Workweek.